Welcome back to She Ministries. I'm Nichol Naranjo, and today I'm here with Janaé Heitzig, and she's going to be showing us a really cool and fun project for Live Awesomely. And she has a 2-year-old, so she's going through. So if she can do projects, you can do projects.
Right? Okay, just briefly so we can get an example of what we're doing. I'm doing music sheets, I guess crafts or arts, and basically I was inspired to do it for my daughter's room, and what we did is we made music sheet flowers and with buttons and paint, and it looks complicated, but it's really not that bad. You don't always have to stick it on a stick, but this was a party favor for our baby shower. I also made what I would like to consider a Christmas ornament. It's just a butterfly with glitter and silver paint, but it also has a little clip that you can clip onto the branch. Last Christmas they had similar butterflies that were not inexpensive. They went between $12 and $15 for a music sheet ornament, and so I just figured, why not make it myself? Okay, ladies, just to show you how inexpensive this craft is, this is a 200-page music book. I just went to a used bookstore and or an antique shop. I went to both. I have hymnals, but this is just a plain workshop book with music sheet, and it's big and it's over 8 by 11, so I think it's more like 9 by 12 or 9 by 13, which gives you a lot of paper to work with, which is really nice. So I'm going to be really basic and start with just a sheet of paper, and what I do is I fold it 3 times. So I fold it hamburger style, and that's 1, and I fold it again, that's 2, and then 1 more time, and that's 3. And what I usually do is I fold it in such a way to get the excess paper off so that you don't have paper without music notes on it. And then I simply take a pencil, and I'm simply going to draw a petal for a flower. And the key to this is usually when I draw a flower on a piece of paper, you might round it out at the bottom when you're coming to the center of the flower. But with this, you want to keep a flat edge. You don't want to round it all. You want to come with a swoop and come straight down. And what you're going to get is something simple like this after you cut it out. And it's basically a flat edge with your shape, and you can do any shape, and I'll show you that later on, that you can do different petal shapes at the top. So what you're going to be left with is 8 petals, and we're going to need those 8 petals to make one single flower, but it's pretty nice when a single piece of music sheet paper can make an entire flower. Once we do this, I just put it back together and I cut it down the middle, and you have the 8 singles. You can discard the excess, and then I'm just going to show you how to first fold your first petal. And so what I like to do is I like to pinch it up, kind of like you're folding a taco, only at the flat edge. You don't want to pinch it all the way up because then it will dent your petal, but just pinch it enough, just a little bit, like a centimeter. And then I take the hot glue gun. Your hot glue gun is going to be your best friend. You're just going to do a single row of hot glue, and then I pinch it off. And just be careful because paper is thin, and so the hot glue is hot. So I pinch it off just again to that centimeter. You don't want to do too thick of a side here because it affects the size of your flower as well as the design of the flower. I make 8 of these, 8 little ones. I'm going to show you ones that are already created so that it makes it go faster. But say I have these 2 petals, then I'm going to take the 2 petals out of 8 and I'm going to glue them together almost kind of like a bow tie. Again, you're just gluing on that thin centimeter of a pinch, and you're gluing them together. You can do this with normal paper glue, but the hot glue gun actually works better because it dries so quickly. It allows you to move on faster. After you have 4 bow ties, And we're going to then glue these together. Again, you're going to glue on that thin spot. And you don't have to be as generous with the glue as I am, but I like to make sure it's stuck. And then you're just going to glue two together. So you're going to pinch that off. And then I'm going to take another bow tie and glue. And I'm going to simply add it to the ones I already have. And I just use my fingers to pinch it open. And you want to center where you've glued as much as possible. And then you can take your last one. And again, it's a kid-friendly craft. If you use regular glue, it will just take a little longer to produce. Pinch it generously. In the back, there's like a little gap for your thumb and your pointer finger, which is nice, and then I pinch it in the front as well. So that's where the beginning of the flower begins. But you still have, what I do is I take these and I pinch these shut with glue as well. I just dab a spot, and I dab the other side, and then I just pinch it together. You can kind of see the glue squeeze out. If you give it a little bit of time, it won't burn, and that's when I wipe it off. There is the layout of the flower. From here, it's completely up to you what you want to do with it. If you are a plain Jane and you just like the flower simply as it is, you can do so, and you can put this up wherever you'd like. I have paint here, and with my daughter's room, she had pink, orange, and green floral, so what I did is I painted the edges where you see this design here. I simply took, and you could take a paintbrush. I encourage to use acrylic paint is what the lady at the craft store told me to use, because it dries quickly. Again, I'm using everything that dries fast because I'm limited on time when you have little ones. Pinch again with your thumb and your pointer finger, and that will allow you to hold it, the flower, and then I just take it and I touch the rim of it. And you can go as thin or as thick as you want. If you wanted to do this with regular paper, you could do so as well. But because my daughter's name is Cadence Joy, I was inspired to use music notes. You do that to each petal. And then if you wanted to add glitter, you could do it if you wanted it to be a little bit more glamorous. From here, what we do is I take this to the garage and I spray it with like a hodgepodge. And hodgepodge basically strengthens the paper, and it gives it kind of a clear, shiny coat to it as well. It also helps the paint and everything. You can use any kind of button that you have at home, or get really cheap buttons at the craft store again, and then you'll just super glue it on in the center, and then you would have your flower. I don't know if you can tell, but it has been sprayed with the hodgepodge. And that's why it's a little stiffer, which is nice, and then it helps the paint, and I do the button after. Starting from the get-go again, with a piece of paper for the butterfly, I would fold it 3 times as I did before, and you'd have this, whoop, I just fast forwarded again, I left this part off, and again, I would draw simply as I did with the other one, maybe a little bit more pointy at the top, but you don't have to. You can go wide, and then you'd cut it out. And you can do all kinds of different sizes as well. And I'm left with those 8 again, or the 4, and you cut them down the center. For the bottom wing, what I do is instead of folding it the paper 3 times, I simply folded it twice. So hamburger style, and then again in half. And what I did is I folded it this way, and when it comes to drawing it, you're doing the same idea, just coming down, and I just made it bigger. Again, you want the bottom to be flat. You don't want to come in at all. To make the bottom wings, you get 2 butterflies. To make the top wings, you get 4. Just group them together. And then down here, you're doing the same thing as you did with the butterfly or the flower. You're going to simply pinch it in the middle, just a centimeter. So you glue. And I'm going to fast forward with ones that I have already created. And what you're left with is you're going to be left with the 2 smaller wings and the 2 large wings. And just with the flower, same thing, we're going to make a bow tie with the large ones, so it's going to pinch off like that. And the small ones are going to pinch like so. So then you're left with the large bow tie and the small bow tie. The smaller wings go on top, and again you're just going to take it and glue them together like we saw with the flower. The only difference is with the flower I came all the way down. With the butterfly you don't want to come all the way down because the smaller wings don't hit the bottom. So I come halfway down with the glue and then I pinch it off. We're going to pinch the bottoms together but not the top, because the top is where we're going to put the antennas. So you get the bottom wings together, then you jump to the back of it because you have to have a clip for it to clip onto something like a branch or anything else that you want to stick the butterfly to. I put glue, I open the barrette because you don't want to glue it shut, and if you don't want to hold it you can pinch it onto something like that. From here, from once you have the clip glued on, that's when you move on to doing the paint. And I have silver and gold for butterflies, and I paint it on generously again to help with the whole glitter. And then I just do like over a Tupperware or even a paper plate with the glitter so that you don't waste any. So then I just generously shake it on. So this is a pink butterfly that I was making for my daughter's room. And then as far as the antennas go, I just went and got stencil stems. And this is a variety pack of different colors. So I'm going to pull out a pink one. And you want to be fairly generous with the size. You would think you wouldn't have to be, but because I like to curl it up and make it a little bit three-dimensional with this one. As you can see, I kind of curled them over. I make it a little long, so about there, and then I bend it in half. Scissors. And then you're just going to pinch it off again like a centimeter long, and that's at the bottom where they come together. And then you can separate them out, and I can curl them now. You can curl them now, you can curl them after it's glued on. I just kind of curl it around. Where we left that gap, you're going to glue these in. Alright. And then you have your little butterfly. So we're in Cadence's room, and this is where I was inspired, or the reason I decided to make the flowers to begin with. As you can see, we made a mobile, and as I told you before, you can make different sizes of the flowers. It all depends on one, the size of the paper, and two, it also depends on how many times you fold it. So for the really large flowers, I didn't even fold them. I just cut them out and then traced one petal after the other, and you get a bigger flower that way. Basically what I meant with the butterfly is for her room is you can simply, whether it's on the tree branch on your Christmas tree, or in this case for Cadence, you can just clip on the butterfly to a flower. For putting them on the wall, I just use double-sided tape. It's kind of like it's not regular double-sided tape. I think it's kind of like an industrial double-sided tape. With the stems, I made a little bouquet. Again, with music sheet paper, you can really do anything.
Thank you so much, Janaé. These were so beautiful and so awesome, and I feel like these are like perfect for any age.
Right.
Because I felt like I want to go home and make these, but I know my daughters would get on the website to make them as well. Another thought I had was with the little butterflies and even the flowers, you could put them on top of gifts.
Yes.
My family gives ornaments on top of our gifts for Christmas, so I was like thinking when you were showing us, like, ooh, I can do that this year for everyone. Put a pretty little butterfly or a flower on top, and then they could put it as an ornament. And these can be given as gifts. You don't just have to put them on top of the gift. Like
right.
My girls love to make crafts and give them to the grandparents. What grandparents wouldn't be happy to receive?
Exactly.
Something like this. You know, get creative, make your gifts. People will love them, and you'll save money, and the time that you put into them will mean a lot to that person as well.
Definitely.
So thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
No, you're busy.
Yep.
And if Janaé can do it, you guys can do it too.
Yep, and I can tell you Nathan even helps, so it's not complicated.
Yeah, get help from your husbands, your friends, your children, whomever. Thank you for joining us for another DIY demo for Live Awesomely. We hope that you join us again next time.